So good morning, everyone. My name is Colette Phipps. I'm with the Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services and the Director of Program Development and also Livable Communities. Welcome to the Transportation Forum of Senior Service Providers. And I'm speaking on behalf of our Commissioner, May Carpenter, who brings greetings this morning. And she, of course, would bring greetings from our County Executive, George Latimer. This is going to be an exciting event. I think the transportation is one of our three most popular topics that we talk about, and certainly topics that the aging population here in Westchester County care about. So welcome, please enjoy. I think that this program is going to be filled with all kinds of great information. Take notes and enjoy. So I'll pass it on.
Thanks, Colette. My name is Jennifer Crawford, and I'm a program specialist here at the Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services. Thank you to all who are joining us. I hear you signing in. I'd like to thank our Age Friendly Collaborative for putting this event together. The last time we had this event, I believe, was in 2019 in person, and it is just wonderful to be able to present it again. In particular, I want to thank our co-chairs, Louise Chow, our Central Communities Coordinator from WJCS, and Deb Casill, our Northeast Central Coordinator from Family Services of Westchester RideConnect.
The busy bees and the
I'm hearing a lot of noise, a lot of background noise. We are getting some background noise.
Can you mute everyone?
Please mute yourself. So again, I want to thank our Age Friendly Collaborative, particularly the co-chairs, Louise Chow, the Central Livable Communities Coordinator at WJCS, and Deb Casill at RideConnect of Family Services of Westchester. She's our Northeast Central Livable Communities Coordinator. Before I turn this over to Deb and Louise to talk a little more about the collaborative, I just want to say this is being recorded and will be posted on our Care Prep website. I'll put the address in the chat. Also, too, if you can mute yourselves while you're not speaking, that will help to cut down on background noise. Thanks again, and I'm handing it over to Deb.
Good morning, everybody. So this program is being presented by the Collaborative for Age Friendly Communities together with the Transportation and Mobility Management Collaborative of the Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services and the Westchester Public-Private Partnership for Aging Services. These collaboratives are among 18 livable communities county collaboratives that advocate for change in areas that affect seniors and their families through research and education for the general public. The Collaborative for Age Friendly Communities serves as the umbrella collaborative with the mission to engage organizations and individuals in shaping and sustaining communities that work for everyone by sharing resources among peer networks and leveraging the talents, skills, and expertise of older adults. Collaborative members come from public and private agencies, nonprofit organizations, businesses, and the community. Now I'd like to introduce our moderator, Dr. Beverly Carter. Dr. Carter is a program administrator at the Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services, overseeing the Older Drivers Coalition and the Transportation and Mobility Management Collaboratives. Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, everyone. It is always a privilege to work with transportation and our transportation programs, a topic that is near and dear to my heart. So I want to begin today by quickly introducing the agencies being presented. We have information from the Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation Pedestrian Safety, as well as the Beeline buses and the Smart Commute program, the Cancer Support Team, Westchester County Office for People with Disabilities, Westfare Rides, the Center for Aging in Place, RideConnect, and FISH, Friends in Service Helping Hastings-on-Hudson. Some very quick thoughts. Each presenter is going to have 5 minutes to discuss the highlights of their program. I will be keeping time, and I will give everyone a 1-minute warning to wrap up. And again, I just want to encourage all of our participants to mute themselves and to make a note if you have a question about any of the programs that are being highlighted today. We're going to come back to a question and answer period toward the end of the program, and we will invite you to make your questions known at that time. Thank you and enjoy. So we're going to start with our first program, the Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation. You can go back to the first one. Actually, we'll just touch on that. Then this program is actually normally presented by Anna Wiganoska. She is with Pedestrian Safety at the Traffic Safety Office of the Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation. And she encourages us and reminds us that walking is another form of transportation. She often and is available to provide free educational presentations on pedestrian safety for older adults. And this is always very important, especially while our roads are so hectic and, you know, and it really segues into a bit of our older driver community as well, or the driving community as well, and how as pedestrians to, you know, really be careful, you know, that you're paying attention to what's happening when you're on the road, when you're walking, because unfortunately, you know, there's no fight between a car or bus and your physical body. That's not something we're going to win. So we really have to be as aware as possible to stay as safe as possible. The program is funded by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration with a grant from the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. This is a particularly important program also because we've seen in studies over the past 5 years or so an increase in the number of people who've been hit by a car in 3 key communities: New Rochelle, White Plains, and Yonkers. And there's been a huge effort made at a state and local level to really address those concerns, to decrease the number of hits, you know, and to keep people safer for as long as possible. The other thought is, again, there's something that, you know, that she always reminds us that while we're walking, say, through parking lots, to just stay aware of people backing out of spaces, because these days most people only know one direction, and that's the direction they're going in. They're not paying real attention to who's behind them. So that really pretty much falls to us. You are free, of course, to call Anna and schedule a presentation for any of your groups. Her number is here, 914-995-2270, and her email address is axw3@westchestergov.com. And again, her name is Anna Wiganoska. Mary Ellen, do you want to add anything to that?
I think it's important to, as pedestrians, that we don't take we take responsibility for where we are and what's going on around us. So if you see a car coming, don't think that that driver sees you. Make sure that you take what you need to do in order to be more safe walking around the roadways.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, next we have Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation, Mary Ellen Burns, who is a program specialist with the Smart Commute program.
Thank you, Beverly. I'm going to talk to you about the Beeline system, which is Westchester County's fixed route bus service. We have close to 60 different routes that serve Westchester County with about 3,300 bus stops. And that is about 65% of the residents are within walking distance of a bus stop. And for us, walking distance would be a quarter of a mile. Some cool things I want to tell you about if a senior would like to take a bus. All of our buses are accessible. Drivers are trained when they come into a bus stop to lower the bus. We call it kneeling. So it's easier for somebody to get up into the bus. If that's still not helpful for someone, all of our buses either have a ramp or a lift. So a person could ask the driver, you have to ask the driver to use it. Ask the driver to use the lift or the ramp. They will put it out there for you and help you, help you use it. So if you need it, ask the driver to use it. It's there for your help. Couple of other things. People right now might be a little worried about taking public transit with the pandemic. What we're doing to keep the riders safe is that all of our buses at night are fully disinfected inside. Any bus that is in service during the day is wiped down twice a day. All of our passengers need to wear a mask while you're on the bus. And we also ask passengers whenever possible to social distance. So that's some of the things we're doing just to keep passengers safer on the bus. Now, we also, for seniors, at least 65 or older, you can get a reduced fare, and that's right now $1.35. Things to remember about the reduced fare is you can use coins. We don't use dollar bills or pennies. We use the same reduced fare card as New York City. So if you have the reduced fare card, you can use a Beeline bus, a subway, or an MTA bus, all with one card. And there's free transfers between the services. Another thing is if you want the card, the MetroCard van is in Westchester the third week of every month. The dates might change, but the locations stay the same. You can go to the van, sign up. Again, if you're at least 65 years of age, all you need to do is bring photo ID, fill out the application, sign it. They will take your picture and do everything, and they will send you the card in the mail. The card is good for 2 years. They will send you a new one after the 2 years, as long as you use the card at least once or twice a year, so they know it's an active card. You can go to the van to put money on that card. You can use the card as an ID and pay your coins, or you can put money on it and use it as a debit card. Let's see. A couple of other things that I want to talk about, again, going back to the accessibility of the buses, is that we also, for people who might have an issue with vision, all of our buses now announce stops. So you can ask the driver, this is the stop that I want to get off at. Can you announce it? And they will announce it on the bus so you know where you're going and where you are. If you have a problem with your hearing, we also have a destination sign in the front of the bus above the driver, which just tells you exactly what's being announced. So you can see it on that. So all of that together hopefully makes it a little easier for a senior to take the bus and be a little more independent with it. Next slide, please. Now, how do we get information? A couple of different ways. People who like to use the phone, we have a phone number. It's 914-813-7777. That you will get a live agent between the hours of 8 and 4, and they will answer any questions you have. They will help you plan a trip. So that's very helpful. Another thing is, if you are somebody who likes to use a computer, we are on Google Maps, and Google Maps is really cool because what you just go on there, put in your information, it will plan the trip for you. It will show you how to get to the bus stop or walking to the bus stop, how far it is, how many stops, where to get on, where to get off, and all of the times are real time. So if you're at the bus stop, you can use your smartphone to see when the bus is arriving, if it's on time, and where it is. So it's a great thing to have if you like to use a smartphone or a computer. The other thing you can do is you can go to westchestercountygov.com Beeline bus, and that's our website. And on that website, you can get all the information you need about the bus, about the system. All of our updated schedules are on that site. So there's a couple of different ways to get information, which would help you make it easier for you to take the bus.
Time.
And if you want the actual paper schedule, you can go to Westchester County's 148 Martine, which is our main office building. We usually have the schedules there. Right now, they're not in there. So I would say go to the website. And then finally, on the bus, we have them in the Take One rack. So if you're on the bus, you can get your schedule from the actual bus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you able to hear me when I give the 1-minute warning?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Just checking. All right. And next we have the Westchester County Office for People with Disabilities. And we have the privilege of having Evan Latainer, who is the Director of Paratransit, with us today. Evan?
Apologies, I didn't unmute myself. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My office, the Office of People with Disabilities, we oversee the day-to-day operations for paratransit. Paratransit is an extension of the regular fixed Beeline bus system. We are designed to remove the barriers of what makes it either difficult or impossible for a person to use the bus. In order to utilize our service, there's a application process that the person needs to fill out. A doctor's part needs to be filled out as well and to send it to us. As of now, person is 75 years of age or older. We waive the interview. We currently waive all interviews due to COVID-19. We've stopped doing interviews for the past year and a half now. We provide service all throughout Westchester. We have wheelchair accessible vans. We have small Prius vehicles. We have Ford Transit Connects, and that's through our primary vendor, Suburban Paratransit. We also have what we call our car service program, and they provide service in the Peekskill area. And then we also have them provide service from what we call mid-county down to Southern County, and that is from the medical center in Valhalla, going from east to west, and then all the way down to the border of Mount Vernon and Yonkers. So we do, before COVID-19 hit, we were averaging between 1,500 trips a day. We have over 6,500 registered riders on our service. Due to COVID, we dropped down considerably over that time. We're back up to about 800, 850 trips a day. We basically, if a person needs anything, they could always give us a call. To contact Paratransit, you would dial 995-7272. The links here is actually for the application, our eligibility guidelines, our rider information, and also the Paratransit Quick Reference Guide. That will provide you with all the information you need. It tells you what paratransit is, what we do, what we cannot do, and then go from there. So it provides opportunities for people to get around the county, whether it's for food shopping, go to doctor's appointments, go to friend's house, go out to the movies, go to work, do whatever you need to do. We also mirror the regular fixed bus. So if the regular fixed bus is operating, we operate. If for any reasons due to weather issues or conditions, the Beeline bus is suspended, we are also suspended as well. But if we take somebody out into the community, we will make sure we go back and get them and bring them home. So that is pretty much everything quick. And so if anyone has any questions, please feel free.
So then please make a note of your questions and we'll come back to them during our question and answer period later in the program, if that's okay. If you had any additional comments, Evan, don't know, but if not, okay, let's move on.
Thank you.
So next we have the cancer support team. And we are very pleased to welcome Mercedes Estabridis, the Coordinator of Community Outreach.
Good morning, everyone. So, cancer support team. Getting through cancer treatment can be hard, but getting to treatment doesn't have to be. Cancer support team is a nonprofit agency that helps anyone with cancer diagnosis get through the cancer experience in the best way possible. Our services are offered at no cost. Everything is free of charge. They include nursing, education and support, case management, social work counseling, financial assistance, and most important, transportation. Next, let's see, the patient must be in active treatment of cancer. They must live in the southern Westchester County. They must be able to get in and out of the car by themselves. Our volunteers do not touch the patient. And if for some reason, if they use a cane or a walker or a companion, that's more than happy to come along. We could take the patient to all the way from Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx through Phipps and Valhalla, all the way to Greenwich Hospital in Connecticut. We usually ask the patient to give us a call and give us a couple of days in advance. Most of our volunteer drivers are driving. Let's see, they could give us a call at 914-777-2777. Our transportation goes from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30. It must be within working hours. Our volunteers should be able to give the patient a call a day prior just to confirm the pickup or the drop off. We do have COVID protocols. They disinfect, everyone must wear a mask, the patient must sit in the back. So hopefully we're here to help them out in any transportation provided. Again, it's Cancer Support Team, 914-777-2777. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And next we have Westfare Rides, and we are so happy to welcome Dr. Kitty Wynkoop, who is the president and co-founder of Westfare Rides. She is the AIRS certified community resource specialist and database curator. We welcome you, Kitty.
Hi, I just want to say how tremendous it is to see so many faces that we haven't seen for over a year and a half in many cases. And the reason I say that is, aside from the fact that I miss seeing you in person, our program is very much oriented to trying to help people work through our volunteer ride system that runs parallel to the Beeline system. And we all of us depend on paratransit as a backup, I'm sure. Our program is a medical ride service. We drive older adults who are age 60 or over, and adults that are 21 years of age or older who are vision impaired. We go all over the county, and we really encourage organizations in the community to work together. I don't think any of our volunteer programs can do everything, meet all of the demand. And so we welcome you if you have any questions about how we might be able to help you out, or if you have any needs that you'd like to discuss, please let us know that. We do have a volunteer management information system that we share already with 4 different organizations. We have a fairly sophisticated information and referral system that we are going to be talking a lot more about over the next month. But let me tell you a little bit more about Westfare Rides. Basically, it's a simple system. If you are of a certain age and you need to get to a medical appointment, you need to call us 3 business days before to request the ride. If we can't find a volunteer to drive you, we do have relationships with livery backups, and we've been using them a lot during COVID. In fact, during COVID, we never shut down. Most of our volunteers stopped driving, but we were able to raise some funding that enabled us to use the backup livery services. And we did over 1,800 rides during COVID. We drove 29,000 miles. And, I'm always amazed when I hear Evan speak about paratransit. He does in a day what we've done in 10 years. So hats off to paratransit. We tell everybody that contacts us about RideConnect and about paratransit, because we really believe that every person of a certain age who needs help getting to medical appointments needs to know about all of the available services. And we encourage them to sign up for every service that they're eligible for so that they'll have backups. If RideConnect and paratransit can't help, we are thrilled to know that there are other local community services that can help, whether it's Neighbor to Neighbor in Pound Ridge, Fish in North Salem, the Briarcliff group. We are just very fortunate in this county to have so many options available to us. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Kitty. Next slide, please. We are very, very pleased to welcome Marie Johnson, who is the director of SPRI for the Center for Aging in Place.
Good morning. Really happy to be here. So Lynn has asked me to review the transportation piece of the 7 aging in place organizations in Westchester County for CAP this morning. And as we know, that there are 7 wonderful organizations in this immediate area, SPRI being one of them, DeHaven on the Hudson in Yonkers, New Rochelle, At Home on the Sound, It Takes a Village, Gramerton Village, and Aging in Place. And all of them are run separately or by a paid staff, and I think 4 of them are run by volunteers. And as I've talked with other executive directors there, the organizations use transportation mostly for medical appointments, or what we call here at SPRI essential appointments, dentist, PT, OT, grocery shopping. We call those, we refer to those as essential. And then we drive people also to our social programs if they don't have transportation, because we want them to attend those as well. And those include, of course, lectures, outings, luncheons, museums, and other, engaging, interesting, entertaining events in the county that they want to go to. Our organizations, I believe there's 60, you need to be 60 and above. Is that right, Kitty, for all the 7 organizations in Westchester County, 60 and above.
Yeah.
I know some of them are thinking about maybe lowering that to 55. And that's an individual, that's a, organizational issue that they are thinking of. We have thought about it, but we're going to stick with 60 and above. Who are the drivers that drive for these organizations? I find mostly it's a mix of retired people, newly retired or have been retired for a while. I have a lot of parents that are working at home and they drop off their children from 9 to 3, so they have those hours available, and those are generally the hours that we book all of our appointments. And Monday through Friday, if we have a weekend program, which we're starting to do more of, we will also provide rides. Someone will get that. We'll get the person there on a weekend if need be. The number of rides per week, each local aging in place has their own parameters for provision of services. So we collect number of rides, boundaries of how far they will go, and organizational systems. And we will recommend alternatives if someone calls Spry and wishes to go to say Scarsdale, we will make a referral to another organization. I will add that I've been receiving a lot of phone calls from United Healthcare. I don't know if they're case managers, but I've been getting a lot of calls from United Healthcare requesting rides for their patients or clients. And that, I guess, Spry is somehow in their system. And I have to start, every conversation with are they a member of Spry and where are they going to go? And somehow we're in their system. It's an error because they're referring clients from all over Westchester County for rides, Peekskill.
Or either doing the same with us.
Yes, and you try to find someone to talk to at United Healthcare. It's just not going to happen. And I keep telling the person who calls, please remove us from your list of referrals, because it's just, it's not going to work. It's not working. But I do refer them if they do want to go to
1 minute.
somewhere in Yonkers. So I will make it an appropriate referral. So concluding thoughts, rides are more than transportation. We actually have many of our volunteer drivers form a relationship with a Spry member, and they once in a while they go out to lunch, and once in a while they talk. So it's a nice arrangement. And as we always say, it's Spry is so much, it's just a nicer way to get to your appointment versus a taxi or a van. And it's a great way to connect with each other. Any questions?
Please make note of your questions and we'll come back to them during our question and answer period, which is coming up shortly. Thank you so much. Next, we have RideConnect with Marietta Manoni, who's the mobility coordinator. And take it away, Marietta.
Hey everybody. So RideConnect is very pleased to say that we are coming up on our 12th year. We're very excited about that. So basically we are volunteer transportation. We also have a shopping bus. We have a referral service, and we also have dialysis transportation a few times per week. And that's really been very helpful to seniors who have to get to these appointments. Our clients as well have to be at least 60. They have to be cognitively and physically able to travel independently. We travel within Westchester and Putnam counties. We also have a database of all kinds of other transportation options throughout Westchester, including paratransit and other volunteer programs and community transport. Our rides are completely free of charge. We're staffed Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we put in ride requests for 7 days. So if people need to travel on weekends, we can definitely do that because we have volunteers that serve us every day of the week. We have and evenings as well, depending on volunteer availability. We provide rides we're countywide as well. We do medical, dental, grocery, to the hairdresser, the library, restaurants, all kinds of errands. And like I said, we do this pretty much 7 days a week. And we do get a lot of questions. We also get calls from care managers and social workers about transportation. A lot is in the Westchester area, but then we do get these calls from wanting to go to, the city, and do we do that? And unfortunately, we don't, but we try to give out as much information as we can, Access-a-Ride, that sort of thing. So we try to help everybody who calls, and anybody who has a referral, just, can call us, and we will take those referrals.
What's your number?
I'm sorry, say that again?
If you could please mute yourselves so we can decrease the background noise. Thank you very much.
So our main telephone number is 914-242-7433. We have our own website, which is RideConnect which is RideConnectWestchester.org. And we have a Gmail account, RideConnectWestchester@gmail.com. So there's a number of different ways to get a hold of us. The phone number being, the most, because we're staffed 9 to 5, but we do get back to people who, who call, who send us emails, and basically a lot of information is available on our website, and people can put in requests via the website as well.
30 seconds.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you. Please
Perfect.
ask any questions you might have.
Great, thank you so much. Please make a note of your question, and please bring it up again when we come to our question and answer period shortly. Next, we have the privilege of having a representative from FISH, Friends in Service Helping, from Hastings on Hudson, Sue Smith.
Good morning, thank you. We're really small fry compared to the people who've been presenting, but I find it very interesting and important for us to learn. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Seeing you.
You're not seeing me. That's
Hear you and see you.
okay. I've been working for FISH for many years. We call it Friends in Service Helping, but we only serve people in Hastings, and I think that can be confusing sometimes. This started in Hastings in 1968. A Hastings church member had read about it in England and thought it was a great idea to help people in his congregation. And of course, quickly it became apparent that the whole community needed that kind of help, so the business expanded. 53 years later, the organization continues to thrive and maintain its same purpose and format. Let me explain how it works. It's a total volunteer operation. The volunteer dispatcher is recruited from the community, and this person becomes the manager, connecting those in need with a volunteer who is able to provide the service. In the past 25 years, there have been 2 people in that job, both retired and eager to have a connection with people and a task to do from home. Their personal phone numbers become the FISH number. When that person goes on vacation, others step up, people like myself, in the short term to carry the service on. Volunteer drivers are recruited from the village or nearby by word of mouth or by an annual letter in the local newspaper. Currently, there are 26 individuals on our list. The dispatcher learns each person's quirky schedule, who can do what when, and sometimes it takes 5 or 6 phone calls to make the match. There are no age limits, and we don't go into New York City, but we go anywhere in Westchester. We do consider it friends driving friends, and in fact, many friendships have been created. And the system works. No money changes hands other than if there's a parking meter or a parking lot required. Obviously, the dispatcher manager is the critical ingredient, who needs to be flexible and creative and very patient. But that's really our story, which has continued and seems to, be going fine. It's very simple and compared to others, but it's very small also. Thank you. Answer questions later. I
Yes,
should say, we do rely on, when we get calls outside of Hastings, we call someone like Westfare to try to pick up the RideConnect. So we appreciate what the rest of you are doing.
Wonderful. And just a quick comment that there are also fishes in Mount Kisco and in Bedford Hills.
Hmm.
So separate programs as
I didn't
well.
know that.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. So I just want to take a quick moment and touch on our planning for driving retirement. And I don't know if any of you have seen this. It's on our website, westchestergov.com, planning for driving retirement. And the reason I'm pointing you in this direction, really there are a few reasons, but one of them is because you can see from the number of different providers just to meet a need, transportation, we're sort of backing into a growing need. I like to say just generally that we as a community across the United States never really plan to age. That's sort of my perspective here. And so because of it, we never really planned for the things that would come with aging. And so over the last 20 years or so, you know, we've had the opportunity now to create those programs as or longer than that really, because that was why Commissioner Carpenter really was, brought so many of these programs on board, but able to sort of meet those needs. Transportation in particular, if you look at it, has like 1,000 moving parts, 1,000 moving pieces. Everybody addresses the concern from their area of specialty, their area of expertise need to meet an immediate need, of course, within our community, within their community. So the planning for driving retirement really is a composite of the majority of the programs that are featured here, from public transit to countywide safety programs, that have been represented here. Maybe one or two that haven't been discussed, like vision service for the blind and visually impaired. WJCS, Project Timeout, that provides in-home respite and escort services to older adults over the age of 60, that offers their caregivers a much needed break. And the service involves providing a compassionate care and supervision to those who are frail, too frail to be left alone, have dementia, or those who require assistance when they're going out. So that information is available as well in that planning for driving retirement. Additionally, on the back of this planning for driving retirement is a list of all of the local park and recreation programs from each of our various municipalities. And it lists, again, each municipality, the number you can call if you have a need for transportation within your community. And a lot of times, they're outreaching to local programs such as shopping, or maybe to their community center. They have small things that they're able to do, especially now as things are coming back online. I think pretty much things were closed down during the pandemic, but slowly but surely things are coming back online. And then some of the additional transportation options that we didn't highlight here is MedTrans, or medical transportation. And there are specific requirements and there are numbers to call that are available in this brochure. The various insurance companies that our seniors are working with, that you can check now with your insurance carrier to see if they offer medical transportation or reimbursement for medical appointments, which is very helpful. Our houses of worship, many of them are also providing transportation services, our local taxi services, community senior centers, the whole 9 yards. So this would be available also at westchestergov.com, the Department of Senior Programs and Services. You'll be able to find it there. And of course, we do have the Older Driver Family Assistance Program to help those people who are still driving or transitioning from driving to one of these amazing programs that have been discussed today. So thank you for that. I also want to highlight the fact that a copy of these slides are available to you. Jen has graciously put a link in the chat, so you can touch base there, and we'll remind you again. At this point, I want to ask for the questions and answers. I mean, do you have any questions that need to be addressed?
Yes, I have a question. My name is Gail, and I live in Lower Westchester, and I have a doctor's appointment for a vision issue at New York Presbyterian, which is on 165th Street.
Sure.
Are there any options for me to get some help in transportation?
Yes, there are.
Really?
What are they?
Do you do anything with this, Kitty?
I'm sorry, we only drive in Westchester, which is really very frustrating for people.
Yeah.
We do, however, we have had some folks who have taken paratransit to the border, the Bronx border, and then they pick up Accessoride, but it's a very long trip and it's exhausting.
Mm.
Well, there is one option that I'm aware of, and that one is with Visions. It's a service for the blind and visually impaired. And that number, if I can give you the number,
Please, yes.
1-888-245-8333.
8333.
Yep, one more time. 1-888-245-8333.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So I have a question. I'm Polly Bejor. I am in Hastings from Fish.
Hi, Polly.
I have two questions. One is, are there any means tests or requirements for the paratransit vision or the cancer programs? And my other one is there vetting of the volunteer drivers and if in these organizations, and if there is, what is that and who does it?
Go for paratransit.
Can you turn your volume up a little bit, Evan?
I'll try.
Please.
How's this? Better?
Better.
Okay. Paratransit, the application process, all we need is some general information, and also the doctor needs to sign off on the certification part of the application. And once we have that, everything, they send it to us and then we process it and we get it done in a few days. What I always suggest to our riders, especially our seniors, is that when you fill out the application, you have your good days, how you feel, and you have your bad days, how you feel. Every day's a bad day, because this way you'll get more of the service. We have three levels of service. We have temporary, we have unconditional, which means you can get whatever you want, to go anywhere, whenever the service is running. And then we have conditional, and that has limitations where people can get it to use it for doctor's appointments, when it's hot outside, when it's cold outside, terrain prohibits a bus, things like that. And how we make that determination is the information you provide on the application. And I know that with our senior community, people might think that they can do certain things, but not as easily as they used to, and it would take them longer. So the concept of, it's a bad day, it just removes those barriers that would come up and create problems for them to use the service. And I'd rather have them get as much as they can, the unconditional part of the service, so we don't have any problems in the future for that rider. I hope that answers the question.
This is Marietta from RideConnect. I just wanted to say that we vet all of our volunteers. They go through a pretty robust process of filling out an application. We have to take a copy of their driver's license and proof of vehicle insurance, which goes to the DMV. They do a background check. And usually if a person wants to volunteer, we know within a few days whether or not they've cleared, so we can get them right on the road. As far as the clients go, as I said, they have to be at least 60 years of age. They have to be able to get in and out of a car on their own. We still have the mask mandate. Everybody has to wear a mask. They have to sit in the back seat with a seatbelt on at all times.
Also for paratransit, our drivers are all 19A certified, so they have to have background checks, they're fingerprinted, and we make sure everything is covered before any driver goes onto the road or is approved to go onto the road.
Polly, just for the record, Westfare Rides does have a formal application process. We do check references. We do criminal and motor vehicle background checks. We participate in a system through the Department of Motor Vehicles so that we're alerted if there are any accidents or any changes in the status of the driver. We also do an interview, a formal interview with our volunteers before they can drive. And I'm sure everybody else does this, but we require COVID vaccination. Not for our riders, but for our drivers.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Kitty, and Karen and Marietta, that there is involvement also in the RSVP program. I think is it the insurance rider or something that you're using to support the drivers?
Yeah, for any volunteer who is a member of RSVP, yes.
Okay, great.
We are not a part of that program, but we do provide supplemental auto insurance and supplemental volunteer insurance for all of our volunteers.
Great, thank you. And as far as the blind and visually impaired programs, I've had the privilege of having a best friend who is blind and sort of seeing firsthand how some of those programs work. But speaking, for example, about visions, they recognize that when somebody loses their vision, their day-to-day activities are beyond challenging within the home and in the community. And so they really do adapt a team approach to helping that person and their family learn techniques in order to live with that vision loss and remain as active as possible in the school, home, community work environments. And they also provide instruction on daily living skills in the home and how to cross the street safely, how to travel on public transportation, a variety of things. So there are a number of opportunities for people who are blind or visually impaired to at least maintain a good quality of life.
I would like to add that cancer support team, we also have a release form for all of our patients and drivers. It's like a waiver they must sign for COVID. Cancer support team does care about the health and safety of all. They also must wear a mask, both patient and the volunteer drivers. Also, the patients must sit in the back. Patients will be asked to disclose their vaccine status. All of our volunteers have been fully vaccinated, and they just need to sign a waiver. So just like everyone else, whoever would like to become a volunteer driver, we also do the interview, we also do the background check-in, and we're happy to let you know that most of our volunteers drivers are either friends, relatives, or close relationship with either our patients, our staff, or board members, advisory members. So cancer support team, we're there for everyone who has cancer in the lower Westchester area. Thank you.
Can I ask a few questions?
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Hi, I'm Rosemary. I know some of you by voice, and it's nice to see your faces. I'm up in Bedford, representing Bedford Village, Bedford Hills, and Katona, where we do feel pretty neglected in terms of public transportation. We don't have options to get aids to many of our seniors because of the limits on transportation. And I'm hoping that some of the organizations, and especially maybe the Beeline, would consider expanding service to our seniors. There are many I'm working with who qualify for aids through their insurance and cannot get one. We are told by organizations straight out that they won't supply aids to our area because of the cost of transportation, that they can't use public transportation to get them there. So that's one of my biggest concerns.
Talking about transportation in Westchester County.
Yes.
I got
Yep.
that in Wilson.
The northeastern section of Westchester is extremely underserved. We appreciate very much paratransit that does reach some of our seniors, but there is a long process for that to get. The other, I had tried to get support from Cancer Support Team to learn, because one of my seniors was told that she had an extremely imminent need to get treatment for her cancer, lived in Bedford Village and could not get to New York City for her treatments. Couldn't afford it to do it privately. And she ended up finding a place in Lower Westchester and then drove herself down to her treatments and back from Lower Westchester. So that just lots of frustrations around transportation in our part of Westchester. So that's number one. Just not.
Excuse me for one moment. I'm hearing background noise. If people would not mind muting themselves so we can focus on our question here. Thank you.
So I'm not sure that that's actually a question. I guess the big question is, will we ever get service here that, where our needs are met for our seniors? That the ability to get aids to our seniors is critical. So it's very, very upsetting and frustrating when we can't do that. And we know that seniors are needing them and are qualifying for them, but just can't get them because of transportation.
So one of the things that I can address a little bit, I can't speak to the public transportation coming into the area, but one of the things, or some of the things that we've done at RideConnect, is if an aide can take public transportation to one of the stops in Bedford or wherever, we can oftentimes get a volunteer to get them sort of that first mile, last mile, get them to the client's home. And that seems to be working out, fairly well. I mean, I know it doesn't alleviate the problem of the cost, but we can at least pick them up at the train station and get them to the home and then hopefully get them back.
Okay, are you aware? I mean, I know you're saying the last mile, so I don't know if you mean that literally, because for some of them,
that's just a transportation term. It really just means from the train station to work.
Okay, because some of those miles are like 7 miles. All right, well, that's very good to know. I don't think a lot of the agencies know that's a possibility, because that's been flat out told to me by many that they won't send aides up our way because of transportation and the cost of sending them up privately. I also, because I'm the seniors advocate here, I have had people come forward with volunteering to drive somebody maybe, locally outside of, and I want to also thank RideConnect and Westfare Rides, because I do know that some of our seniors have been able to connect with them, but not necessarily to get aids to them. So, but my local volunteers who just kind of come up and say, can we help? I've had one that was really enthusiastic, ready to go, drove somebody a couple of times, called. I asked her to call, I don't remember if it was Westfare Rides or RideConnect, to become a volunteer. And she got very nervous with the liability information and all of the items that she had to fill out. And I'm just wondering, as someone who may in the future try to get volunteers to drive people, how do you keep people with you after they go through this vetting process where they realize they may have a lot of liability if there is, God forbid, any kind of accident, which not necessarily is about getting people, you know, a driving accident, but even getting somebody in and out of a car, possibly having injury or something like that. So my question is, you know, do you have any tips for me if I were to go forward doing something like that, trying to get volunteers?
So this is Karen again with RideConnect. You know, the liability issue is it's just there, and it is a real issue. That said, in 12 years of running RideConnect, we've never had a problem. That doesn't mean we never will. It just means we never have. So I think the liability issue starts to get taken out of proportion sometimes. We have car insurance for a reason. We all have car insurance for a reason. So, you know, you can't, if somebody's really that nervous about liability, unfortunately, in our experience, we found if that's really raised first and foremost, we kind of have a hard time talking them out of it. By far and large, all of the volunteers that we have, which is well over 300 volunteer drivers, it's not an issue. So it's not really an answer to your question. I mean, it is an issue, liability, but again, 12 years and, you know, hundreds of thousands of services in those 12 years, and we've not had an issue, knock on wood. But
I'd like to just say one thing on the public transit side of things, if I could. I know that our Department of Planning is doing a comprehensive study on our bus system and how things might be able to be done differently. If you would like input, you can go to our website or you can call me up and I'll give you the person's name that you can talk to about, you know, giving your input and some of the issues that they might be studying.
Actually, I have done that a few times. And it was before the pandemic, I think a year and a half ago. I was told that they were going to do a trial run through this area and it was going to happen in January. In January, it never happened. So very, very, very disappointed because my hopes were very high. So yeah. There was mention about fish in Bedford Hills. Now, the only time I know people have tried to call them, it sounded like they were defunct. So does anybody know of an actual contact person that is still very active in Bedford Hills Fish? Because we certainly would use that.
I can and would be happy to give you the number that we have published in our brochure, which is 914-666-2255.
Yeah, Rosemary, that's a very important issue. We have not been able to get in touch with Fish, Mount Kisco, Bedford Hills for months and months. The phone does accept messages, but nobody returns the calls. So
yeah.
I also wanted to say that I'd love to stop by. Are you still at the community house in Bedford Hills on Thursdays?
My day has changed, Kitty, but I will be there Monday afternoon if you're available.
I'm going to stop by. I want to hear some more about the waiver concerns. These were drivers or riders who had concerns?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to hear some more about that. And there's a lot of history. Karen is absolutely correct about what she said about risk, but there's even more history than that.
Yes.
A lot of people have looked at this issue in many different ways, and the answer remains the same. There's risk. We try to mitigate risk. We have insurances on top of insurances, and we hope that people feel more comfortable because of all of that. But bottom line, we don't want people to drive who run into things. Bottom line.
Yeah. And just a quick highlight, Kitty has done a tremendous amount of research on this and is extremely knowledgeable, as is Karen. So you're in good hands on that one.
Yeah.
I just have a little an anecdotal comment that I'd like to make. I was talking to the junior board of FSW last night, and they also brought this up, this insurance issue. And to me, it just comes down to if your next door neighbor said, you know, I need a ride to the doctor, can you take me? Or I need a ride to the store, can you take me? Of course, if you had the time, you would say yes, and you wouldn't think, oh my God, I mean, insurance issues. So I just kind of think it's, you know, it's kind of like an extension of wanting to do a favor for someone. And, you know, we can't live in a bubble, and we, you know, I don't know. I just kind of, like I said, that's my little anecdote.
Beverly, I'm not
You might have two items on maybe your camera and a phone. Do you have two things going?
Okay, I'm having trouble with my microphone. Does it sound funny to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Deb, maybe when it's,
maybe
you can do the wrap up, because I don't know what's going on here.
Okay. When it's time, I'll do it. I'll do it, Louise.
Do we have any additional questions?
Yes, I have a question for Cancer Support Team.
Please.
We get a lot of calls about, getting people to their cancer treatment. When you say that it's Southern Westchester, can you tell me exactly what that means, so that we know if people happen to call here?
Yes. So we go from Portchester all the way down to Yonkers. So we cover Portchester, Rye, Larchmont, Mamaroneck, New Rochelle, Pelham, all of that, from Portchester all the way down to Yonkers.
Okay, thank you.
We are making a little bit of an exception, and that's because our patient lives in Portchester. But I'm just giving as an example, even though he lives in Portchester, he's getting treatment at Greenwich Hospital, which is right on the border between Portchester and Greenwich, and we're helping him out, and he's very happy with us.
This is Ronnie Cox. May I ask a question, please?
Absolutely. Welcome, Ronnie.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just heard the route that you cover, and you go everywhere except Mount Vernon. Pelham is on one side and Yonkers is on the other. Is there any reason that you don't service Mount Vernon?
Is this for Cancer Support Team?
Yeah.
We also cover Mount Vernon. I'm sorry. We go from Portchester all the way down to Yonkers. I just didn't mention Mount Vernon. I apologize.
Okay. No
But we
problem.
do cover
Mount Vernon is, Mount Vernon is the southernmost point. So I just wanted to be sure that Mount Vernon was included. Thank you so very much. And if you ever need me, feel free to contact me because I know the Mount Vernon community extremely well. Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, everybody. Great symposium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions for us?
I actually do have another one. I'm sorry.
Please, welcome. No.
Well, I guess it's for Mary Ellen, because I know that the reduced fare van does go throughout Westchester. Again, completely not in any reachable place for our seniors in this northeastern section of Westchester. And I don't understand, like, at least maybe Mount Kisco could have the van because you have a hospital there. That would be doable for our seniors to get to or their family members. But even Peekskill, for some of our seniors in Bedford Village, that's about a 45-minute drive. For most of us, it's about a half-hour drive. So it's really not that feasible.
I know we looked into changing some of the locations, and Mount Kisco was one of the areas we were looking at. Right now, because it is the MTA, they're not changing anything. So hopefully in the future, we'll be able to do something like that. For any senior who can't get to the van and still has their MetroCard reduced fare market, they can sign up using their credit card if they wanted to, and it would always have money on it. It's a service that they can do. And again, every 2 years, I'll send them the new card. But that's one way of getting money on a card without having to go someplace and actually put money on it.
And so just quickly to clarify, Mary Ellen, what that means is that you would put your credit card on, maybe say, and it would add $10, and then it would use that $10 and then add an additional $10, sort of like bill as you go, based on that
Yes,
increment.
almost like Easy Pay. If anybody has Easy Pay, you use your credit card. You have to have the reduced fare card. It's not your actual credit card. And I think it's every 2 months, they'll send you a statement showing you what you need, what you use. The other thing also is that the MTA is going to the Omni system, which is going to be a no card kind of system. They're not sure how the seniors card will fit into that yet, but that'll be, once they have an idea on that, it'll be an easier way to put money on a card for seniors in Westchester.
Do we have anything additional? Any additional questions?
Yes, Beverly, this is Jennifer. I've just been monitoring the chat a bit, and I see there's a lot of questions around home health aides or personal care associates and assistants. I see questions like, other than our transit, are there any other transportation providers who allow for PCAs? Could there be a coordinated county-wide effort to provide transportation to pick up aides from the train stations and main bus stops and get them to their clients? So and then of course some previous comments about the northern part of the county. So, you know, I think again, to address, can home health aides ride with riders in some of these organizations, and any thoughts on a county-wide effort in terms of their transportation?
As far as RideConnect goes, yes, we take many clients that have aides with them, and that's fine.
I would like, again, we're doing a study of the bus system and how things might be able to, new ways of thinking and bus routes and all of that type of information. So anybody who would like input for that can either go on our website, it's the transportation side of our Beeline website, or they can call me. I can give you my phone number, which is 114-995-1621. And I can put you in touch with the person who's actually doing that study. I know they would like input and ideas from people on what really needs to be looked at. And that's one of the important issues.
Thank you. I just want to also acknowledge Carol Silverman, who noted the another hazard to walking is bike riders that don't signal their approach from behind and nearly knock pedestrians over. So again, just highlighting the importance of safe walking, right?
Speaking of Carol, I see another note from her about asking about the reliability of the BXM4C bus route to New York City. I don't know what that means, but just I'm noticing it on the chat. So
yeah, the bus that route is available. We did do a couple of service on it, so we cut back on some of the service because of lack of ridership. That's the only bus route in our system that somebody pays more than $1.35 for. And seniors who ride that bus will only get the reduced fare on off-peak hours. But if you want the schedule, I would suggest going on our website, and that's the most, the newest and the most recent information on that bus.
It only the last ride into Manhattan in the morning is around 9 a.m. and the first ride back from Manhattan is about 3:30. But when I used to take it years ago, it could be hours late. I mean, literally hours, or not show up. They would just skip a whole, a whole run, and you would be standing out in the snow on Madison Avenue waiting to get home. So I'm just hoping that it's more reliable now than it was then.
I believe it is. I I'm not aware of those big type of issues that that bus had. It is a limited service. It's Monday through Friday. But it's there, and it does take long. One thing I will say is it does take longer than what the schedule shows because of the
Traffic.
Yep.
traffic in New York City and that type of thing. But yes, it does run.
And my other comment about the bikes is there is apparently, according to Amy, a law that says that you must have a signaling device on your bicycle. And I've approached the Amy Paulin, and I've approached the bike shops, and they could pay, they could make an extra $8 or whatever if they would just sell a bell for every bike they sell, but they're very reluctant to do that. And I've contacted the police who say, well, we're really not going to enforce that. The only place in the whole state where it is enforced is in Central Park. But you could be walking on that Bronx River walkway and nearly be knocked over by bikes that just come up behind you and don't even signal, don't say anything. And I walk with a lady who walks with a cane, and even the two of us walking there, they seem to not notice us.
Yeah.
So I don't know what can be done, but there needs to be some enforcement, maybe more signage. They say you have to wear a helmet. Maybe they could add to that sign, you need to have a signaling device.
It's a great thought. Okay. I want to remind everyone that the PowerPoint for this program is available, and you can just email Jennifer Crawford at jqsu@westchestergov.com for a copy of the PowerPoint, and also that they will make it available as a recording on the careprepwestchester.org site. Are there any additional questions?
Beverly, I see somebody asked here, how can we get copies of the Planning for Driving Retirement brochure?
You can contact me. I'd be happy to mail it out to you. I can also send I could send you a PDF online if you'd like that.
There's also, it's also on our website, westchestergov.com/seniors. So you can find it there. And but Mary Ellen certainly has them in excess to send out in bunches if you need them. I see the additional question, must riders be vaccinated across the board? Do drivers need to be vaccinated? So those two questions are out there as well. And I see from Kitty that for Westfare Rides, riders do not have to be vaccinated, but our drivers do need to be vaccinated. So it looks like that will vary across the board a bit. Okay, is there anything else?
I have a comment.
Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Serge Del Grosso. I'm from the Westchester Independent Living Center. I've been sort of, I came in a little late. Thank you for everyone for this really informative presentation. I really appreciate all of this information and all of the work you do. My comment was, I'm a active user of the BXM4C, and I can speak to the fact that it is more reliable than it was in the past decades. I've never had trouble with one being more than 10 minutes late from Manhattan going back to White Plains. But the problem is, as we mentioned earlier, it stops running to Manhattan at 9 a.m. and really is only a rush hour service. But when it does run in those rush hours, I find it to be pretty effective. And the delays can happen, but I've never been delayed more than 45 minutes on it, and I've been taking it since 2015.
Awesome. I want to also acknowledge Commissioner Viviana DeCohen, who is with us from the Veterans group in Mount Vernon, and now New York State Governor's Office. And I appreciate her being a part of this because she highlights the importance of these transportation services for our veterans. And of course, some of the unique issues that they have getting from their homes here in Westchester County to some of the veterans hospitals and programs in the Bronx and some of the other.
That's why he ran, right?
Hello? Okay. Viviana?
Good morning, everyone. You know, we're certainly so happy to say that these were services that we have been using throughout the years, even prior to my being here officially as the Commissioner of the Veteran Service Agency, Mount Vernon. You know, our continued work together is so very important. And just recently, I think you saw in the chat, one of our veterans was assisted with transportation. Another veteran had cancer. And so, you know, we're so happy to be able to have the opportunity to provide these valuable services to our veterans here in Mount Vernon.
Thank you very much on behalf of everyone thus far. Do we have any additional questions? I want to begin to segue our program to the evaluation of this presentation. Is there anything additional that any additional questions that are out there needing an answer?
Bev, it looks like somebody just asked, would this be accessible on YouTube or other videos, or is it just going to be on the Care Prep? Do we know that? Jen?
No, I don't know beyond the Care Prep and Jen's site.
So the recording will be uploaded to YouTube. YouTube hosts the video, and then we put it on our Care Prep website. So there is an independent YouTube link. So with the appropriate keywords, you could find it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, but you can also go to and access the YouTube video on our Care Prep Westchester website.
Great. And at this point, then, I want to invite you all to click on the evaluation link in the chat and ask you to take a quick moment to evaluate this presentation. And while you're doing that, for me to take a quick moment to thank you all for participating in this wonderful forum. And on behalf of our Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services, Older Driver, Transportation, Mobility Management, and Veterans Collaboratives, I thank you. And I will hand this over to Deb.
Everyone, well, I'll just repeat what Bev said. We're very grateful to all of the providers that took time out this morning to share this really important information, to all of you who came to learn more. And we hope you take this information and share it with your friends and your colleagues through the Care Prep website, through the YouTube, through maybe getting a bunch of those brochures from Mary Ellen's office. I can tell you that they are absolutely so well done, really terrific, very thorough. So I highly recommend that you reach out to Mary Ellen and get a whole bunch of those and hand them out to your friends. And on behalf of the Age Friendly Collaborative, we thank you all.
Thank you.